So we're starting with first group, which is L, I, and J. We have, remember, aim for that middle. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Now, we could make this L a little shorter. If we did, aim for the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Do you see how using the trick dramatically changes the scale of the letter? Now, this is not just this evident with the monoline, it is also this evident with the broad edge tool. So be really conscious of that trick. I stay inside the line. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Now, I used to do the I in a slightly different way. I used to do this. Which I quite like, but it's too much like my J, which is actually this. So I swapped it around to that. Now, just, pay attention to what's happening with these verticals. So I'm sort of missing the verticals because I'm so accustomed to just writing them. H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12. K, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you see how the verticals really help me. I'm a little bit tighter here, should be a little bit more open, but I'm using a monoline like I'm thinking of a broad edge. So just be a little conscious of that. M, aim for the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and you can add a balancing serif there. N, so of course I'm using the round N here. 1, 2, I'm going to go out to give it a little bit more space. 3, and up, down, and around, and out. So now I'm going to have to do an internal balance there. And then we have B, aim for the middle, B, R, and so you're probably noticing that the groups have changed slightly, and their order has also changed. F, P, so I go from here, I go up and down and back D, the trick, and down and out and back. Now, of course, you could make the D slightly smaller. It doesn't have to be so big. So you can see that this one, the internal space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one is 1, 2, 3, 4.5. You could make it even smaller if you just compressed it down a little bit. Then we have one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we have the opposite curves, which is the same curve but kind of feels opposite. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now the W is interesting here because it's actually 1. And if we move this here, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. See, it's the same curve. 3, 4, and this is that. That's how it's connected. And then we have this, 4, 5, and 6. I'll come back to the W in a little bit. Y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 11. And the round T, which is a bit of a nightmare, is lower. So instead of starting up here, we start a little further down. To get this to cross the top. Now, let's show you what happens if we did 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you come to using a broad edge nib, doing it this way first, then doing it this way helps you to find an intermediate height. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't really look that great because it's a little weak. You could get away with 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, 8, but then it starts to become too much like the angular form. V is 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5. See the vertex? 6, 7, 8 and 9. Z is narrower. And you know, the funny thing about this is the Z and the A are in the same group, right? So the A starts over here. 1, 2, 3. Now, most people would think you would do this, but that would make the A too big. So it's 1, 2, 3, and go up. 1, 2, 3. Up and down, which gives us 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is not at 30, 45 anymore, it's at 60. And so 6, 7, and 8, and 9, and so let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So these spaces are equidistant for the A. And of course, we have the S, which is 1, see middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I'd make that a little bit wider. I didn't give myself enough space there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.